Hello everybody and welcome back to day 21 of my placement diary. It sounds really bizarre when you say it like that. I can't believe I've been there this long. Things are starting to really pick up for me and I've had a really good time so far, so let it continue into this, the penultimate week, and then finally the last week. Short and sweet placement diary today. I think is going to be, I'm recording this at 8:45 at night, indication of how kind of hectic today's been. Once I got in from the nursery, this flat is about 1,001 degrees if I had to estimate, and it's really just not a good working environment whatsoever. I would happily go to the library, but A, I can't record one of these in the library, and B, it's packed to the seams with students just now because it's exam time. But I'm sure I'll manage to finish this off here. I managed to finish my written reflection and written daily summary when I got home, and then as soon as my head hit the pillow, I've probably slept for a good couple of hours. Apparently that was really badly needed. So, personal health's kind of came into it today. But there we go. Let's not bore you with the minor details like that. I thought it would maybe be beneficial to mention, just so that we're all on the same page, you know where I'm coming from. Hang on a second. We're just going to jump into my reflections reviews day 21. Today was pretty good. I really enjoyed today. First things first, as soon as I walked into the door, the practitioners came up to me and was like, "Oh, how's your weekend?" Just the usual. Kind of feeling like part of the staff now, part of the furniture, I suppose you could say. Don't you dare. No, stop falling. Why were you not stay still? There we go. Oh, this microphone is heavy. I'll put my feet on it. Yeah, so I feel like a kind of bit of the furniture, really integrated well with the staff, and it's starting to show. We have a nice little rapport going now. One of the older practitioners came up and was like, "Why don't you just lead circle time today? If you've nothing sort of better to do just now, by all means, just take it. Do you want to do it today, or do you want to wait until another day?" I was like, "Well, there's no reason. I mean, I've seen it happen often enough. By all means, I'm more than happy to do it." And I'd mentioned to this particular practitioner before, I said, a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do in terms of language development and finding out about the resources and how the children are integrating with them, a lot of that is kind of, I wouldn't say done because I'm constantly looking out for it, but a lot of that's been covered, especially in my folder. So, I don't really need time to do that, if you understand. So if you want to suggest things for me to do, then by all means, and I'll be more than happy to do them. And she says, "Well, why don't you just try your best to get the best out of the rest of this placement as you can, get any valuable experience you can still get." And I was like, "Well, absolutely, a part of this placement is for me to find out what it's like to work in this environment, so sorry, by all means, just give me these things to do." And she did. And I took circle time, and it was brilliant. It went without a hitch. Nothing bad happened. I did the circle. I took the register. I did the hello song. We did the weather bear, and the turn and talk to see what your friends did at the weekend. And everything was great. So then we moved on to free play. Unfortunately, I didn't really get a chance to take an area today. Reason for that is that we had all the staff. Every staff member had an area to themselves, so I basically just came to the middle tables and sat and just sort of played with the children, as it were. And that was, beneficial in its own rights. I was kind of just melding with the staff, we were having conversations, and we were just, I don't want to just say doing our job, but that's kind of what it was, we were just doing what we were supposed to be doing, and it worked really well. First group segment today was fine. I had the green group. The green group were happy to have me back by the looks of things, and I decided that it would be a good idea for us to do some drama. The children, I've seen other groups do drama before, and I've seen particularly the green group do drama before, and I know how much they like it. Especially one little boy in that group likes to really be the villain in every story, so I thought that was kind of interesting. It would have been good to see, I wanted to take charge of it myself and see if they would do it the same for me as they would for the other practitioners, and they did. It's needless to say, it went really well. everything was grand. We did 3 billy goats gruff, and there was 3 billy goats, and then there was the troll that lives under the bridge. They even had a toy bridge, which I thought was quite funny. So they all had masks to put on, which was hilarious if you had seen it. And unfortunately we had one child out, so we actually had 5 children, and there was only 4 characters in the story. So the 5th children came and read the book with the 5th children. Tell it's been one of those days. The 5th child came and read the book with me, sort of sat on my knee and turned the pages and stuff, and that was fine. But then I decided to do a second story in which that child was then given the chance to be in the story, so that no one was left out, as it were. And yeah, it seemed to work really well. They all enjoyed what they were doing. After that, we headed off to lunch. So I'm trying to think of what else I can maybe say about this drama lesson. It was really just, it's like a call and response sort of thing that's happening. I would read the story, and then say the storybook would say, "Little Billy Goats Gruff said, 'No, don't eat me, I'm too small.'" Then the child would have to say back, "No, don't eat me, I'm too small." So it was getting them to use the same words and just repeat what I said, which is a good part of actually developing their language, is getting them to repeat what adults say. So it was good in that regard, I believe, and that's kind of the benefits that we got out of it. Again, in the lesson plan part of my folder, I've not completely typed it up yet, as it were. I'm still in the process of doing the reflective part on that. But like I said, as soon as I came into this room, I just collapsed. So I will do my best to get that done as quickly as possible and pop that in the folder, while it's still fresh. So let's see, after first group time, took the green group. That's really all the notable things that happened today. We went for lunch after that. Lunch was pretty standard, nothing out of the ordinary happened there. Then we had free play as opposed to story and quiet time, just because I think the children were more interested in sort of blowing off steam, running around playing, as opposed to actually sitting down and listening to like a story. I think it would have been difficult to do so, especially because the nursery was so warm today. I think this is just a heat wavy day, and there's not a lot that can be done about this, and the fact that my fan is switched off while making this recording is absolutely killing me at the moment. So yeah, I think it was just really hot all round for all the members of staff today, and the kids were starting to feel it as well. So to combat this, we listened to their demands, that's a strong word. We listened to their suggestions and decided that we would go outside for the afternoon, just like we did on Friday. So I helped them take everything out. There was all the toys and the hut. I helped take them out and put them back in, as it were. And I helped them carry, all the stuff out so that we could have snack in the garden, like a picnic. And there was just... That's all it was, really. We went out into the garden and played there all afternoon. I usually get a bit of time at the end of the day to sit down and do my files, as it were. You update my my folder with the lesson plans and stuff like that. But I didn't get a chance to do so today, just because we were out for the whole time. I could have easily asked to go back in, but I thought, why would I do that? That would be a terrible idea. It would be best just to stay outside with the children and just be with them for the amount of time, because they want me there, and at the end of the day I'm there to be there for the children. And yeah, that was pretty much the summary of the day. In terms of things that I learned that I managed to get a copy of a couple of risk assessments just to see what the sort of procedure is, because we're going on the sorry, I'll just pick these up. Because we're going on the visit to the art gallery on Wednesday, I want to say, risk assessment form had to be done for that. So I was able to pick up one of those just so that I can see how the nursery functions in terms of that. If I can get this bag open, it'll be half the battle. I'm going to have to do some folder management while I'm here. Let's see. That's egg symmetry. I found out about a couple of the sort of managerial aspects of the nursery while I was there today. Sat down while the manager was in, and I had a chance to speak to her. I got a lot of things out of her, which was really good. Where is this risk assessment? Aha! Here it is. So here we have a risk assessment form, and it covers. This microphone is doing my head in. It obviously covers sort of like the main areas here: who might be harmed and how, what are the hazards, what are you already doing. You know, this just gets filled to the absolute brim of all the things that could possibly go wrong, basically, and that's signed off by the manager if she seems it fit. I also picked up a transition report. So this is the sort of inform schools. I think it goes in the child file that they all keep in the nursery, but it tells you know, just like personal achievement, transition reports, literacy, numeracy, HWB, and all curricular areas. The learner's statement and the parent and carer's signature, you know, just to sign off to make sure that everything is sort of legit, as it were. Spontaneous observation sheet whenever you see a child do something that you think is beneficial to them or to the curriculum for excellence, or birth to 3. The child's name will go here, date, time, and then the experiences and outcomes covered. Usually what the practitioners will do, they'll put a picture that they've taken up in the top left hand corner. Obviously I can't show you one of those because it's always a picture of the child, but you know, I'll label this as such. Some comments go down in the child comment section, and then on the back we just have some next steps to see how they can develop whatever it is that they're showing. Big thing that I found today was how the nursery deals with pre-birth to 3. Well, not so much pre-birth to 3, I guess it's for 18 months onwards for this nursery, because that's the sort of youngest that they've had so far. And this is from Edinburgh Council. It's kind of like it's almost like repackaged pre-birth to 3. It kind of just covers everything that should be happening in the document, but it puts it in a handy table so that you can check things off as they go. So that's really useful. It covers all the way up to 3 here. Let's see, yeah, 36 months down here. And you know, you can see things like can jump lifting both feet off the ground, can put on clothes, can pedal a tricycle, you know, things like that. And I think that's really useful, because for coming from me, who for the purposes of this placement, oh dearie me, this is really doing my head in. Sorry, I'm gonna have to fix this. It's caught on things on the floor. No, this isn't happening. Okay. For the purposes of this placement, I had to familiarise myself with that document. I realised it was really loose and really quite non-prescriptive. Now, that's not to say that a documentation like that should be prescriptive. Quite the opposite. You know, there should be room for improvement from practitioners themselves, as it is with the curriculum for excellence. You know, it's not all cut and dry. But it seemed a little bit, I wouldn't say airy-fairy, because that's a bit of an insult to the creation of the document, but it just seemed a little bit, you know, loose. And having this as an aside to support that document has been really useful. I managed to get a copy of it today, of course, and yeah, it has it in place so that the staff and the practitioners, they know what they're looking for. They know, okay, this is, it's not ticky boxy, as it were. You know, we're not forcing children into these sort of roles that are prescripted, but it's, if they notice things like this happening, then that's good. That means that the child is on track for development. So yeah, very good. I was happy with that. I also managed to pick up a pre-birth to 3. I just printed this off, actually. This is part of the documentation of pre-birth to 3. It's the key principles of effective practice. It says draft 2011 up there, but that's because this is the nursery's copy. But as you can see, you know, things that are coming up here, like to feel safe, secure and loved, and to be consulted with and have their views and opinions heard and acted upon, to have opportunities, be actively involved in decision making. You know, the nursery clearly covers all this. You've seen the videos that I've been putting up so far. Without even taking a look at my folder, you know that the nursery, they value this, and that's fantastic. To feel welcomed, the thing is, I'm glad that they have this to support it, this document that I've showed you here, the sort of repackaged outcomes, as it were. having that to support this is great, because if you look at things like responsive care, let's say, and it says here to feel welcomed into a warm and friendly and familiar environment, that's great. I mean, you can promote that as much as you can, but how exactly do you measure that? How do you measure, if your environment's warm and welcome? I suppose by the mood of the children, as it were. But it's kind of really loose. To be involved, to become independent and practice new skills. What new skills? It could be anything. Is it knitting? I'm kind of picking holes in this here just for the purposes of my argument, which is probably not the best way to do so, but I'm just trying to prove the point that having like this documentation here that's from the Edinburgh Council is really useful, and it's proven to be useful within the nursery environment in practice as well. Okay, I'll come off that tangent there, and I'll just show you one last piece of documentation I got today. And there's a child's consultation form. Now, it looks very similar to a thought cloud. That's because it is a thought cloud. So the idea will go in the middle, and then sort of quotes from the children, what they're saying, will go on the outside as it would in a spider diagram, or a brainstorming sheet. It says here what we can do to find out and what do we need to help us. So for previous weeks we've had Easter, it's been in the middle, and then branching off it's talking about baking, branching out it's talking about the Easter bunny, branching off it's talking about the story of Easter, which we never actually got around to, but just the things that the children are asking for, they'll all go in here, and the practitioners will bring that to their their weekly meeting and discuss if these points have been made, if the boxes have been ticked. And yeah, so I've actually had quite a busy day, the more I think about it. I completely ditched the pad again. I had it out with me at first and I was like, I am doing a lot here, so I'm just going to put this down. And I found that really useful. Gets me a lot more involved, it's not like I'm behind the guise of a book all the time. And that's become a lot more useful, especially for just getting things done, to be honest. So that is going to be it for today. A bit shorter than usual, thank goodness, to be honest. And I will see you all tomorrow for tomorrow's reflection. Thank you for joining me once again. Bye-bye.